We've been laser focused on the COVID-19 pandemic ever since it first hit the U.S. earlier this year. But there's another emergency health crisis within the pandemic that's cost the lives of more than 50,000 men and women last year. Before the COVID-19 pandemic, there was an epidemic plaguing the U.S., the opioid overdose crisis. Fatal opioid overdoses have increased in many communities across the country. And there are treatment options, but some have more barriers than others. Opioids like prescription pain pills, heroin, and fentanyl activate certain receptors in the brain that cause users to become reliant on the drug to prevent painful withdrawals, and over time, more is needed to produce the same effect. One FDA-approved medication, Buprenorphine, became the first of its kind to treat opioid use, relieving drug cravings and diminishing withdrawals. However, when it was first approved, it required physicians to obtain a special certification known as the X waiver to prescribe it. Providers are required to do extra hours of training and can only prescribe it to a certain number of patients per year. At the time, this made sense for both policymakers and law enforcement who are concerned about the drug ending up on the street. But now, even though buprenorphine is backed by science as a medication-assisted treatment for opioid use, only a small percentage of providers across the country have the certification. This is stirring up a conversation within the medical community. But is it those struggling with addiction and their families who are paying the price? My first guest is Jennifer, a mother who recently lost her son to an opioid overdose. Jennifer, first of all, my sympathies for your loss. I know no matter how long it's been, it does not get any easier. So I just want to extend that to you from myself and the show.
Thank you.
But let's talk about your son. Describe your son to us.
Well, my son's name is Quincy. He was addicted to heroin for a decade. He went into rehab twice. This second time, they put him on buprenorphine. But when it came time for him to be discharged to a halfway house, they had to wean him off because the halfway house wouldn't take him on buprenorphine. He was dead within 27 days of being discharged from rehab, from an overdose.
And why wouldn't they accept him on it? I mean, that was helping him.
Well, I think it has to do with what they consider their liability. You know, they have to provide somewhere for them to lock it up because there are instances of people selling their buprenorphine or giving it away or perhaps misusing it in some way, but that can be easily remedied by requiring them to lock it up and be subject to pill counts.
I mean, I just can't imagine how tough it was. You were hopeful that he was going to stay sober and had been doing well, and then this happens.
Yeah, that's what you hope for, that they will succeed in their sobriety, but you almost always kind of pre-grieve because you know what they've been through in the past, but it never prepares you for the fact when your child dies.